More than Southern Spotlight, Slim McGee here with Officer Kennedy and
Josh Dunn.
good morning, Officer Kennedy. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Well, how long have you been on the police force?
Personally, I've been a police officer since 1979. I was 22 years with the JPD, and I retired from there as a lieutenant. I was over the special response team, media training, those kinds of things, my official capacity there. And then whenever I came over here, I became chief of then a security department. In '08, we became a police department on campus, and through attrition, we got rid of all of our security officers, and now we are fully staffed with 7 full-time police officers and 6 reserve police officers who help us out with events, sporting events, concerts, things like that.
Since you guys are an actual police force now, can you issue citations?
We do. We issue mostly administrative citations, which means the money goes to Missouri Southern and it does not go to the state. However, we do have uniform traffic citations through the Missouri State Highway Patrol, and we can issue state citations. We usually reserve those for the more serious driving offenses, such as driving revoked, suspended, driving while intoxicated, careless and imprudent driving, maybe driving without a license at all, those kinds of violations, but we do issue those as well. And then they go directly to the county seat, which is Carthage, and either pay the fine or go to court there.
So being a police officer, do you have to have a certain weapon, or do you have the weapon of your choice?
Well, it's the chief's determination on that, and since I'm the chief, I make the determination on it. So, we have all 40 caliber. That makes it simpler so that we just have to order one round and not a bunch of different rounds, and it's simpler that way. Almost every officer has the Glock 22, which is kind of a standard for police across the country. So we try to adhere to that so that we can, have one armor. We can exchange clips if we need to in certain situations. It just makes it simpler that way.
We've been taught from a very young age that when you call 911, that's the universal tag as far as reaching the police.
Yeah.
If there's an issue on campus and the student dials 911, does that go to you first, or does that go?
No, it actually doesn't. When I do my training sessions in the university experience classes, I stress that fact that if you dial 911, they're just going to transfer you to our number. So I ask people to program our number in their phones, which is 626-2222, and then it will save time by just dialing us instead of Joplin, because they're just going to ask you where you are and then transfer you to our number.
Okay. With that, with having people program their number, has your department worked with the IT department as far as maybe coming up with some sort of an app or some sort of other method that students can reach the campus police in case they don't have that number programmed?
We haven't. But one of the good things is if it's an actual emergency situation, we also contract with Joplin Communications, so they could actually dispatch our officers directly from their location if it were some kind of a crisis where that was indicated. Even if you can't for some reason get a hold of a campus police officer on the night shift, maybe they're in the bottom of the building like we are here, and the phone didn't reach them, you could call Joplin and they'll actually dispatch for us, our officers as well. So it's kind of a fail-safe situation, so that if you don't know our number and call them, it's still fine.
Okay. So how do you feel each morning? Are you waking up each morning knowing that you're putting your life on the line for thousands of students each day? How does that make you feel? I know you've been doing it a long time, but do you feel a certain way sometimes?
It's sort of a calling for police officers. They realize that they're going to do that. Back before Columbine, the job wasn't as risky, right? At Columbine, the officers showed up at that school shooting. They set up a perimeter. They called for SWAT. SWAT came out. They took hours and hours to do a slow, methodical search in that building. And we decided that was stupid. People laid in there and bled out for 3 hours. We have to do something differently. So since then, all police agencies have started doing active shooter drills, so that they line up at the door. The first 2 or 3 officers to get there, they run directly in, they run toward the gunfire, and they take the person out who's killing students. And that's what we all sign up for, and we realize that's the job requirement now. And so things have changed a lot in policing, and if someone doesn't want to put the lives of students above their own, then they get a different job, not in police work. So you're absolutely correct. Things have changed a lot in that way.
And you referenced 2008, Southern actually, came their own police force or have their own police force replace the security agency. I'm just curious, is there a common misconception that you think many students have as far as the campus police department? Maybe whether it just not be thinking that they're an actual police department, something along those lines.
It's not as much these days, but when we became a police department in '08, and then just a few years after that, many people still would call and ask for a security officer, and we'd have to say, well, we don't have those anymore. I can send you a police officer if you'd like. I think that is the biggest misconception, though, that we're still not police and we can't do anything about their particular problem until we show up and they realize that, with the badge that says police and the gun and the cuffs, and they realize that, oh yeah, they're the real thing, but we get that quite a bit. We're getting less and less as the years go by.
Okay, so how many more years do you think you have left in your tank to be a police officer?
Don't know for sure. I could retire in a couple of years, but I'll probably put in more years than that. So I'm still having a good time.
Okay.
Well, I think that's all I had.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us here on Southern Spotlight. Have a good day.